What's up? What's up?
Hello.
Hi guys, welcome to CGX Cast. This is a cloud gaming podcast. We have some pretty good stuff to talk about today, and we have two awesome special guests with Ray. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me to the show to be with this always awesome panel of guys. I appreciate it.
For sure, for sure. Good to have you. And of course, we have Chase, the gaming advocate. How are you doing today, sir?
Happy Saturday, everybody. It's good to see you. Glad to
Awesome.
glad to be stopping by again.
Yeah. I was watching your table talk discussion today. Good stuff overall, man. Love that. It's a good way to wake up Saturday mornings, man. So shout out to you for that. Good stuff. All right, so we're gonna get into it, man. We got some stuff to talk about. This was actually kind of a pretty slow week in the cloud gaming space. Amazon Luna had one game, which, well, it's called Current. I don't even know if you guys are familiar with it.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, okay. So we'll get into that, see if anyone has played it, see what your thoughts are with that game. But we do want to speculate a little with Amazon Luna, so we'll get into that. Some of you guys might have heard Netflix is getting into gaming, right? So I see Chief, are you chicken? They delivered the most epic cloud game platform. So we'll talk about this. I'm just teasing, but we'll talk about that a little bit. As you guys know, GFN. For those of you guys who pre-ordered the 3080 tier, and you live in the States, some people are actually getting the 3080. So we'll just talk about, and if you guys in the chat who have the 3080, let us know. Let us know how your experience has been. And then, as you guys know, Forza Horizon 5, great reviews for that game. It looks absolutely incredible. It's looking like one of the best racing games to ever grace the face of this earth. But this game should be coming to Xbox Cloud Gaming on the 9th, which is next week. So, but again, it's already out for people to test right now. So we'll talk about that. I was hoping GTP was on here because I know he's has some hands on with that, but we'll speculate about that and see how excited we are with that. So again, there's so much to cover. Oh, you too, Duncan. You love him for us. Cool. Yeah. So
It's,
we'll go
we'll
ahead.
touch on it. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of the games you start playing and you don't want it to stop. You're just continuing on. I think a lot of people are going to absolutely love it, and you can see why from even my first about 4 or 5 hours into it, why people are talking about the game of the year.
Yeah. It's crazy. IGN give it a 10 out of 10, and man, they're picky with the 10 out of 10s, so that Jesus, that should say a lot. But yeah, we'll get into all of that. But yeah, so let's get into this. Let's introduce the panel members, and then we'll introduce the viewers and say hi to you guys. So to get started, we'll start with Ray. How you doing today, sir? What have you
Yeah,
been up to? What have you been playing? What platform?
sure. I've been playing on the GFN. I don't have the 3080. I just paid my $49.99. I've been playing New World, which it just plays amazing on it. I've been playing another really cool RPG game called Alien. It's free. And let's see. Been playing Dirt 5. I've been playing Dirt 5 on Stadia. I played Far Cry 6 on
Nice.
Stadia, but then when I played it on GFN, it's like, oh my god, it's like and I just got to be honest, it's like night and day with the 30 frames compared to the 60 frames per second.
Right.
So, and then I've been playing a lot of Riders, loving Riders Republic.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that.
So, are you able to check what rig you're getting for your priority in GFN? Do you know if you're getting the 3060? And I wonder if that's why that's making performance-wise a difference for you. Or are you still like getting the 2000 rig?
I think it's, you know what, it's really weird because it's like sometimes I feel like I'm on a 2080, and
Okay.
then sometimes I feel like I'm on a 30 something. It really depends on the game.
Okay.
And then another thing I've been doing is just tweaking. I'll do high, ultra. I've been tweaking a lot of settings on the games to get the best textures and the best graphics and the best play.
Right.
I've been playing. One game I totally forgot that I've been playing all day. The Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Oh,
They
yeah.
got the new DLC. I played that on GFN. I can't stop playing. I actually tweaked the settings on that to make it just look beautiful. The water, the textures, the trees, and everything. So yeah.
So that game on GFN. So I bought the Ultimate Edition on Google Stadia, and I was so excited for the game. But the issue I ran into is trying to find people to play that game with. But I just want to know for experience on GFN, right? How is it just being able to log on and matchmake and find people? And do you
right
do
now,
that?
honestly, I'm just trying to build, because you can also your AI, your crew, you can actually build their stats up. So on GFN, I've been playing on Stadia. I've actually played with Stadia Pro and Certified Dog, Dismal. I've been playing with a group on Stadia on GFN. I just been playing alone. I don't know. I just don't know that many. I see everybody's playing Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing everybody playing, but or Riders Republic.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Good to have you on here, Ray.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait to get your input on some of the conversation pieces for sure. Duncan, how are you doing today, sir? What have you been playing? What platform?
I'm doing absolutely awful today, so I'm going to be really grumpy today. So we're not going to go down that sort of route there.
I think I might like that.
Oh, yeah, of course you would. Of course you would. I've been playing on GFN a lot this week, and went on to a bit of Stadia this week. Very interesting stuff on Stadia, which I'm not going to go into. Also, I have stuck, like I said, about 4 or 5 hours. It actually might be a bit more than that in Forza Horizon, and it is just magnificent. It is. Nice. I'm really curious how it's going to run on xCloud, and I really hope it runs pretty well for everybody, because it is an absolutely brilliant game, and I think people are going to be really taken back by it, because it's very Moorish. As soon as you go into it, you just want to play more and more and more. And if you're like me and you've got your gamer ADHD, there's so many things pop up on the screen with accomplishments on top of your achievements. You have to do these accomplishments to get into more stuff. It is just, when you get into it, I think people are going to really like it, and I can't wait to talk about it more.
Nice. I'm curious to see performance-wise how it performs in xCloud. I mean, I've been watching videos, and my goodness, that game looks gorgeous. So is xCloud gonna do it justice, or is it gonna make it not look too good? That's the question to ask, right? So,
yeah, that's going to be the big question. But for me, Forza Horizon 4, I tried it last week, and it was running pretty decent for me now. Hell, Monkey's not going to like me saying that, but yeah, well, it was running a hell of a lot better than it was. So, touch wood, everything's going to look well.
Cool, awesome. Good to have you on, Duncan. Ben, sir, how are you doing? What have you been playing? What platform?
I had to go back and look. I couldn't remember what I'd been playing. Let's see. I played a little Riders Republic. I've been playing a lot of Goose Goose Duck lately, which is not in the cloud, but it is on PC, Mac, Android, and iOS. So you can literally play it anywhere on a potato. But it's a lot of fun. I've been streaming that on Twitch. Let's see what else. Oh man, I can't remember. Played a lot of Star Wars Pinball and Luna. I just got into it and just kept going. I couldn't stop.
Nice.
You
get your 3080 yet?
No, I'm so mad. I'm still waiting on it.
That sucks.
By the way, Ray, when Ace was asking what rig you were getting on GFN, I don't know if you know this, but you can click, was it Control N or Control G, and it shows you your rig.
Ray knows.
I didn't know if you knew. I was just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I man, I'm just want to get in my game and play.
I know.
Yeah.
You just want it to work and work well, and you don't care what the stats are.
That's
I know.
right. Yep. Yep.
You do
Cool,
you.
cool. Yeah. Good to have you in here, Ben. How about you, Chase? What you been up to? What have you been playing? What platform?
Oh, man, I'm everywhere. I'm gonna be honest with you. So there's days that so this past week I was on the Series S, playing
Ooh,
Siege. I enjoy playing it over there for the 120 frames.
nice.
As far as competitively, when I really want to be competitive and actually go for stats and KD and everything else. Super Animal Royale over on Series S and on PC. Great game. Those of you that haven't played that yet, I highly. Those of you, I'm trying to think of what I would compare it to. Outcasters. If you enjoy Outcasters, if you've played that before, this is at a bigger scale, and I think the gameplay has some depth to it and has some really cool mechanics. So a lot of fun that game. And I tried to stream New World, and man, I want to be positive, but I also want to be authentic that I had a really rough time with that game. AMD GPUs are having issues with that game right now.
Huh.
And it almost, I think, caused my GPU to fail. My monitor shut off. I turned everything down to low settings, turned the rendering down. So I really wanted to play that game, but it's going to have to wait until they optimize it better. And then beyond that, I'm trying to think, what else did I play this week? I just downloaded Forza and I haven't played that yet, so that's going to be on my schedule for tomorrow. So
Nice, nice, nice. You've been gaming, man. It's cool to see, my dude.
hey, man, trying to put the content to the side and focus
For
on the games
sure,
for a little
for
bit,
sure. It's so important, man. So important. Good stuff, Chase. Good to have you on here, for sure. How about you, Chief? What have you been playing? What platform? And how you doing?
It's been a pretty busy week this week, so I haven't had a lot of chance to play. And yeah, I'm still not made it back to New World yet. It's just,
Oh,
I know there's been a
wow,
few issues in that game, and the
wow.
economy has just really put me on a bit of a downer. So I've not really dived back in. So, but then that is also the fault of Guardians of the Galaxy, because that has completely stolen my attention for the foreseeable. I'm almost at the end. I'm at chapter 14, so I think I've got 1.5 chapters to go. So
Wow.
I'm committed on completing that before Forza Horizon 5 drops on Tuesday.
Wow.
So I can actually complete a game before moving on to the next one for a change.
Good for
As
you.
generally, I just get distracted. So yeah, I'm really hoping that performs well on xCloud. But Guardians of the Galaxy just performs so well on Geforce Now. It's just fun to play. But I also dove onto It Takes Two on xCloud, and you find a random, because that needs a co-op, so you have to find somebody else to play with, and that really caught me by surprise. I really got into that. It was quite good fun, and the kids have now taken over on that on the Xbox, so they're really happy to have that on xCloud. So a week, month, I think, for Game Pass in general, but
Yeah.
that one at least is keeping the kids busy.
Yeah. I would say we'll get more into it, but I think it's a weak month for a lot of this, a lot of these platforms. But yeah, we'll again get more into that. But let's check in with Hell Monkey. How are you today, sir? What have you been playing? What platform?
Yeah, I'm good. But like Chief, busy week. Beginning of the week, I got quite a good time of gaming. And Guardians of the Galaxy, yes. Wow, it's just so good. But I reached a section where it took me like, I want to say 9 attempts, but it was definitely double figures. It took me to get past a certain section, and I took a wee break, and then I thought, you know what, I need to finish Tales of Arise. So I jumped back in,
Oh, wow.
and immediately thought to myself, why did I leave this game? And I had a major gaming session back on Monday there, I believe it was. I was off. I did 6 hours. Took a wee break for lunch, had some soup, sandwiches, wee cup of tea, and then jumped back in for another 8 hours and
Dang.
got through. There's like 5 lords you have to defeat. Got to the end, thought it was the end. There's still more to come, and I'm like,
Wow.
most people would be like, oh, is this not it finished? But I'm like, yes, give me more. Yes, please. Yeah, so a bit of that. That was like the last game I played this week until last night.
Yeah.
it's that time of the year, boys.
We're not gonna see Hell Monkey for a little bit. That's
Oh,
what
you'll see me and you'll hear me.
Good stuff.
There's a game
man.
that comes out 2 days later that is going to steal me away from Forza, I think. I don't know how far I'm going to get.
Which game?
Oh, I played another game. Sugar, forgot to say to you guys. Lost Ark beta is underway. I jumped into that open world RPG. I think that's going to be. It's not out until March next year.
Okay.
I think that's going to be a wee sleeping giant for next year. By the way, it's a wee bit buggy, as all betas are. But yeah, I'm intrigued to play more when I get the chance, and I'll hopefully get a full rundown of it. But very impressed so far, and I know Dr. Spaceman's been playing it too. So if anyone wants to chat about it, he's your man right now.
That's awesome. Dag, you guys have been getting. Chief, I'm curious, what game's coming out next week that you think will pull you away
Seriously?
from? Who?
Battlefield 2042.
Of course, yeah.
That's coming out next week.
Yeah.
12th, man. Early access, EA Play Pro.
Dag.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
I forgot. There was one day where I just did a ton of cloud gaming. So I'm in the insiders on Xbox,
Yeah.
and I've been playing with the cloud gaming feature like on Xbox. So I just launched like a ton of different games and played for like 30 minutes to an hour on each one. I played Maneater for like 2 hours. It was a lot of fun.
Wow.
I just forgot to mention that earlier.
Good stuff. Man, I wish this week has been I don't even remember the week, honestly speaking. Oh, GFN. That's where I have been making content, man. Just trying to get these videos out. I know you guys seem to be liking these videos, so I just been trying to knock them out the park. But man, GFN 3080, can't stress that enough. Like it's hard for me to play anything else. Again, I don't want to like rub this in, but realistically speaking, it it's hard. It's really hard after experiencing 4K 60 like almost like you would locally on your Shield TV, and then the RTX 3080 120 FPS on your Yo, it's like if a game is coming out, I'm crossing my fingers hoping that it's coming to GFN, because to me, I feel like that is the best place to play games right now in the cloud. It's that good. But again, still testing out, still there's a lot of things that I'm still trying to figure out, right? I have a Pocket PC, right? There's a saying that if you just plug that in to a monitor that has 120 FPS, you can just utilize that to game. So again, just little things. You know me, I like to push stuff. So I'm testing all these things, but that's where I've been this week. Just GFN testing this 3080 rig, and man, it does not disappoint at all. It's pretty good. But yeah, again, don't want to rub it in, but you guys have a lot to look forward to if you're thinking about getting it for sure. But yeah, that's all I've been doing this week. But I wanted to take a sec to say what's up to people who are in the chat. And do we have a poll going this week, right? I made that a while ago, but I'll check the poll. But if you guys want to, head over to the polls and click that button so we can see what your thoughts are about the cloud gaming news this week. But Callie, what is good? Good to see you in here. Vic, good to see you. Calm, good to see you. Chase, I see you in here as well. Good to see you. Monkey, I see you. Dr. Spaceman, good to see you. Alex the Nerd Gamer, good to see you, my dude. Chief, I see you in here. Who else? Jay, good to see you, my dude. Porter, good to see you. Let's see. Yanto 3000, love the name. Good to see you, my dude. Kiefer, what's up, my dude? Good to see you. For sure. And your mom, and now your mama knows. What's up, man? Good to see you. For sure. Mr. Urban World, good to see you, my dude. All right. Where are we at?
None of your business.
Sherman Gaming, good to see you, my dude. Ace, I want 4K. You're asking for too much, my dude. 4K 120, good to see you. Long Walker, good to see you. And the Extremist and Jason, what's up? Good to see everyone on here. Again, if you don't mind, fill out that poll. We'll get to it. But we hope that you guys do get involved in the conversation, because we'll be pulling out, y'all's chat and talking about it, and probably like asking questions to the panel about it. So we really appreciate you guys being here and participating with this podcast. All right, let's kick it off, man. Amazon Luna. I don't know what to think about this platform. I do want to talk about it though. So they released one game this week called Carrion, Carrion. I have never heard of this game.
It's on xCloud.
It's an xCloud too.
Yeah, it's not new. It's been out like what,
Yeah.
year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
The question is it any good?
I think it was free on Epic last year at one point.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, don't know too much about this game, but that was Luna's only game this week. And let's talk about Luna for a bit, right? So it's the month of November. Going into the holidays, I feel like October, November, December, pretty big months for gaming, right? But again, we talked about GFN. The roadmap was underwhelming. Luna's November roadmap was underwhelming. But let's focus on Luna for a bit, because I don't know. I have a lot to say, but I want to hear what the panel have to say. But do we think we're going to see more from Luna this month? Do you think they're silent? Again, they give us, 4 to 5 games coming on the roadmap this month. Again, November, December tends to be the biggest months in gaming. One game this week. What do you guys think is going on with Luna? Do you think we'll see them surprise us this month with new channels, more games? Or do you think Luna's just gonna continue being Luna, slow pacing this? I see Monkey nodding his head. I see Duncan nodding his head.
I think Monkey and Duncan are going to keep saying that until beta arrives in the UK.
But I want to know, is that a good thing? I guess, right? So you guys let me know. Do you think Luna is going to continue this pace? And then I want to know if you guys feel like it's a good thing that they are keeping to the pace that they're keeping, right? So I'm going to open that up. We'll start with, I see. Okay, Monkey, get in here.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, like, in response to Ben, maybe not, because even though I don't have access, I take a look at the games that's on there. There's nothing there to really entice me in that isn't available anywhere else. So it would solely be for comparison purposes, i.e., does Luna offer me a better experience than, platform XYZ sort of thing? But in terms of, if I wasn't, here, in this privileged position where I get to check out games and give thoughts and things like that out to everyone, I probably wouldn't really bother all that much with it, to be fair. Yeah, I would test it out to see if I could get better performance. But in terms of games, there's nothing there, that's huge. It's going to draw me in that I can't already get anywhere else, and that I'm happy to play anywhere else, whether it be locally or via cloud. So,
So let
if
me ask you
there's
this: what do you think they need to do, right? Because you're saying there's nothing there to draw you to this platform. What do you think they need to do to get your attention?
I mean, it's hard to say. Like, so if they offered up, a channel like an EA Play channel sort of thing, just something to get me in there. If they offered like a selection of EA games, maybe like the higher end games from EA, because that pass is quite expensive if you want to pay it monthly. The
Like
EA Play
Play
Pro,
Pro, yeah.
yeah, is quite expensive.
Uh-huh.
And I find myself, sitting here right now wondering, actually, before the show tonight, looking at the Ubisoft games. I pay for Ubisoft Plus, but couldn't tell you the last time I played a Ubisoft game for any length of time. So, I'm thinking about cancelling that and maybe trying out EA Play Pro instead and see if I play any more of those games. But I don't really see it happening because my type of game these days is coming from, different publishers, different developers that sort of interest me. So it's ideally I would like one service that provides everything to me, but that's never going to happen, of course. So if one service could satisfy my needs with the types of games that I play, and right now looking at Luna, it's not Luna. For me right now, it's Geforce Now with the PC games, and Game Pass as well, locally on PC and, in the cloud, is sort of doing me well. I just think Luna is trying to offer up a mix of everything for everyone, and they're just going to keep slowly building this up and building it up until there is 300-400 games available, and then maybe they go to the masses. It's hard to say.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. How about, so I don't know if I want to spend a lot of time here because again, they're not giving us much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to open this up. So anyone feel free to hop on. What do you guys think? First of all, do you think they'll make more noise this month by, again, announcing things that they didn't, talk about in the roadmap? Second of all, just let us know what you think they need to do to make this platform relevant, I would say.
I'm going to give you something that's probably going to be very controversial.
Oh boy, I like it. Go.
And I haven't. So this is solely an opinion. And I don't talk about this on my channel because I don't like getting into speculation. I don't like giving my opinion very much anymore. But here's what I really think is going on with both this service. And I'll be honest, I'm going to say the same about Stadia because I think they both are doing something very similar. And I don't know, again, I don't have any proof of it. I'm not saying this is exactly what's happening,
Right.
but when you look at what both of these companies' primary focuses are, is it's B2B. They are business first. They will always be business first. They will continue to be business first. They're getting free analytics and free data out of everyone that uses these services without having to go out and get a pool of players or a pool of people to get those analytics and then translate that over to trying to then sell their services, which would be what? Azure and Google Cloud, to be able to have people do a third-party type of service on top of Amazon Cloud and Google Cloud. So they're still going to allow these things to live if that's the case. Like Amazon's not going to get rid of Luna. It doesn't cost them anything to have that there. And same thing with Stadia. I don't think Stadia, I know that always comes up about, is it going to die? Is it going to go away? I don't think so. I think it'll always be there and persist. But the difference is what is their real priority here? Is it really to meet consumers in the middle, or is it to a larger end, which is test out this infrastructure, test out this new technology, and find a way to license it out to businesses and bring them in where they can make the most money? They're going to make more money off of those business contracts than they would ever make to us as consumers. So I don't see Luna speeding up anytime soon. They're going to take their time. They're continuing to kind of operate under that beta phase, if you will. And, you know, that's just the way that I view it from an opinion standpoint. Is that rooted in fact? Maybe not, but that's just how I see it.
I would say Jerry and Duncan sort of agree with you, and I do too. We've talked about this before. Like we've been talking about Stadia white labeling for well over a year. I agree. Like Google is very business focused, always has been. Luna, I'm not so sure on that one because they have Twitch and they have Prime, so they have a much larger audience. They can actually hit really well if they market Luna correctly. So they can make a lot of money on it. And to Monkey's point about there not being a lot of games that appeal to him, that's okay. That's not what they're looking for. They're pulling like the Switch approach. They're looking. And I've said this before. They're putting games on there that are family oriented, that are casual gamer focused. They want all their Prime members that sit there surfing through channels that don't know what to watch to just jump in and play a game once they're ready to roll out. That's kind of where I see them going. Like they don't care that you're going to spend 100 hours on a single game or 60 hours in a game. They just want you to jump in and play something and spend time using their service.
Hot Tub Simulator.
I got something to say.
Go ahead, Ray.
It's like you're going out and you're looking for a certain type of dinner. You want to spend $100 on a filet mignon, or do you want to spend $5 on a hamburger? And that's what you're getting. I mean, I have to give it to him for $5.99 a month. I mean, what do you expect? They're just you're going to start seeing that there's going to be certain platforms that is just a higher tier. It's options. It's going to attract certain people for the games and for the performance and what they offer. And then you're going to have certain platforms that is not going to give you what all that extra stuff. And this is what we're giving you. So, I mean, you got your options, you got your choice.
I like that analogy, Ray. I would take it one step further. Instead of saying it's like a burger, it's like a food court in a mall.
There you go.
You can jump in and you can just buy whatever you want for cheap, and you don't care. You're not going to a fancy restaurant to enjoy it. It's just nourishment. It's just something to spend the time to just sit there and wait while your parents come pick you up, something like that.
Yeah, I like that, Ben.
So do you guys think
you need
we
to
should
remember with Luna is that it's not just the Luna channel, right? So Stadia is doing the same. It's got the Ubisoft channel. Now Luna's got 3 channels with the family channel, the kind of this $5.99 bargain bin, and then the Ubisoft channel. So I think that's where Luna's business model is going to go and separate it from the others. Now for the Twitch integration, for them to really tap into that, they need some better games. And they need some bigger games, because that's where Twitch really makes its money, from some of those big games with the big streamers. So getting things like New World, Battlefield on there, Call of Duty, that's where they'd make their money. I don't think anybody is going to sit there watching a hot tub streamer thinking, oh, I'm going to jump into a hot tub simulator. It's not going to happen. It's going to be the big gaming simulators and games that people are going to want to jump into, not Carrion or the Falconeer. Nobody's going to be streaming that on Twitch. And if they are streaming on Twitch, nobody's going to be watching it. So
all the games that have Twitch integration are ones that I would never choose to stream because nobody's going to watch it. Or it's everybody's watching it, so there's no point in me streaming it because nobody's going to watch me because there's too many people watching it. They don't have really anything in the middle.
I'm going to laugh.
A couple of other things with the quality and obviously the reach at the moment. With GFN going up to 1440, they're not going to reach the big PC audience without doing something similar.
Yeah.
They're still stuck in the US. I don't think they're going to do anything this year. I think if they're going to do anything, it's going to be on the anniversary, which is, I think, February, when they first came into beta for the US. I think they're going to keep it slow because I said many times, they sprang too early. And now they've been caught on the back foot again with Stadia pushing new features, with GFN pushing up quality. Now Luna's like, well, where do we sit in this landscape again? We need to go back to the drawing board and figure this out. So I think until the new AWS services and the new GPUs start rolling out, Luna's not going anywhere.
Go
It
ahead.
makes a
Lucky.
very good point as well. I think something that we all forget about is the silicon shortage is still, ongoing. It can still cost you a minimum of $1,000 for a NVIDIA 1660 graphics card. You know what I mean? You're literally paying the price of a brand new 3080 card for a 1660 right now. And don't think that these companies running these services and data centers aren't suffering from the same shortages and the same costs as the average consumer as well. And just a quick whip. If Amazon Luna sponsor a hot tub stream in the coming months, I am going to laugh so hard.
Gosh. So, uh, what do we do with Luna though? Just
Wait.
continue. Wait. Okay.
Well,
We'll wait.
I was just gonna add one of the really quick thing is that somebody said in the chat about having options and competition, and you do want that. You don't want there to only be one service, and that is 100% true. But what I wanted to just, because I don't know that I clarified this very well, but the point I was trying to get across is that you're not going to see an Amazon or a Google rush to the market on this, because one, we're not in a space where cloud is the dominant factor. They're going to go to where the money is. So if this service, to Ben's point, and Ray kind of mentioned it as well, if they can just offer an option where it's cheap, there's a couple of games there that know that they'll pick up a couple of people. And I know that that's an exaggeration. It's more than that. But they pick up people to actually jump on the service and play. In their mind, they're going to say, yeah, fine, we're good with that. But what's the long game for them right now in the short term? It's those business relationships. They make so much money off of those licensing deals and those contracts. So the focus is probably in the short term on that. And then in the long term, as cloud starts to become more of the dominant factor versus native as far as that convenience piece, then you'll see that shift happen with these companies where we already have the infrastructure, we've tested it, we've got the data. Now we're going to roll it out into a full capacity to consumers.
Right. So do you think this is Amazon's Project Stream? Do you think Luna right now in beta is the Project Stream like Google had with Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Right. So just putting games on there, letting people see what this platform can actually do before they go live in public. Do you think that's what's happening right now with this platform?
I think it's a little more fleshed out than that. Project Stream was just one game testing the stream quality.
Right.
And Luna's testing like a whole UI, and they're testing a market, and they're testing all this other stuff. It's not just the stream quality, which is what Google was doing with Project Stream.
So people gave Stadia a lot, and Google a lot of flack for launching too soon, right? It almost felt like, all right, we tested Project Stream, got some positive reception feedback. All right, let's kick Stadia into gear. So with Luna, then, like you were saying, they have more that they're testing, but then they're taking this, their time with it, making sure that whatever the case might be is perfected before it comes out of beta. People might say that is the right approach to take. I guess like as gamers, me personally, I'm just impatient, especially like seeing, right, the moves that its competitors is making. But I guess
They didn't make
that
controllers for a beta.
Huh?
They were ready to go, and they
Yeah.
pulled it back. Yeah, you didn't make a controller and sell it on Amazon for a beta. They were too late to the party, and when they did decide to go, they were way on the back foot. So they put that beta flag up and went, okay, let's reevaluate. That's my opinion. There's no fact there, but seeing the landscape that they dove into, I think they thought they were ready, and then the rug was pulled from under them.
Okay. Let's move on. We can talk about Luna, but we are not letting it take an hour, this podcast, right? So let's talk about Neflix Gaming, guys. My goodness. So this is quite interesting because I don't think it's what people were expecting, right? So from what I'm reading here, there's 5 games that was released for this. And let me know, anyone in the panel tested this out yet?
No. It's not cloud gaming.
It's not rolled out here. I've refreshed my Android device. Hourly.
Okay.
I was going to try it, but I didn't feel like downloading it and then taking up another app on my phone. It was just
Wait,
If it were within the app, I'd say sure, but it takes you to the Google Play Store to download a Netflix game app. And I was like, that is stupid.
Wait a minute. They have
iOS.
hold up. They have a dedicated app?
Yep.
You have to be in the Netflix app to find the games, and then it sends you to the Google Play Store to download them.
And then I said, nope.
And it's not an app for gaming. It is the individual games that you are downloading from the Google Play Store. They're just advertising them on Netflix.
Or it's a paid game that if you log in with your Netflix account linked to the Play Store, it's then free.
Yep.
It's like the worst model ever.
And
it's pretty dumb.
Nowhere near cloud gaming, which is what everybody
not at all.
It's like
nope,
far from it.
Nope.
Wow.
And it's definitely not the Netflix of games. There are 5 games.
Yeah.
5 really old games.
Yeah, they're not good games either. They're like something you'd play in your browser with Flash. Like not anything anything interesting at all.
Sweep.
It's not that bad, but Solitaire. It's pretty bad. It's like 8-bit.
There's a couple of games. There was a couple of games.
All right, so let's list the games here. I'm seeing Stranger Things, right? Shooting
that
hoops.
Series starts. Like, what series are we on now?
It says Stranger Things 3, the game, right?
There's 2 Stranger Things games on there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there?
Yeah, on the Netflix app, they have 2 of them listed.
Stranger Things in 1984 and Stranger Things 3, the game. And then these Shooting Hoops, Card Blast, and Tether Up. And this is quite interesting. All billed as for adults only. So in a way, like who are they trying to market this to? Right? Because
it's very simple. The mainstream people who are using Netflix, it is not for us. The more game savvy or more AAA console stroke PC gamers, this is for their general market out there. Oh, you can now play Stranger Things. It's on your phone. This is their slow rollout. This is not for console PC gamers. This is for the biggest gaming audience out there in mobile gamers. It is just some. It's just trying to get some people on board and to build this out slowly. And I know we're taking the mick out from it at the moment, but I think this is going to be a slow burn for them. And I can see them dropping some of their tie-ins, which you've already talked about Stranger Things. It's like the last year's one. What happens if they put this year's one in? Continue your story on our mobile app here and start doing that. They're trying to keep it all in commons and all in one place.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's targeting those mobile players, anybody who wants to play series titles, but it's not cloud. It's a joke of an implementation in my book, and it's just a storefront. It's just another storefront.
All it is a launcher. So you go and download the games on the Google Play Store, and once they're downloaded on there, then when you're in Netflix, if you feel like launching them, it'll launch them from there. So it's really it's. I agree with Marchief. It's not. They can make it something later, but they shouldn't have made a big deal out of it and then just came out with this, because this looks worse than like what Facebook Gaming first started with some of their games, where you could just play like within Facebook like 10 years ago.
And also, it's not going to be on iOS because exactly what they're doing is circumventing the whole process. So it's only ever going to be Android and whatever games opt in and get paid by Netflix to be launched from the app. So yeah.
All right. So for the sake of time, I just want to know where y'all are at with this, right? So just put your hands up if you feel like this is okay, if this is a model that's going to be successful or not.
Oh, listen, it might very well be successful. I think we're overlooking.
Wrong question. Let's ask this again, right? Put your hands up if you think that this met your expectations of what Netflix was going to do for gaming.
It's Netflix, so I'm gonna say yes. It met my expectations.
It does. Wow. Okay.
I didn't expect them to do anything decent.
Man. Okay.
They're just looking to get their foot in the door in
Interesting.
gaming and claim that it's gaming. They're not looking to like actually like make something to get gamers.
Okay.
It's just to attract people to another gimmick.
I feel like it's a missed opportunity, especially like when, when it comes to cloud. I mean, people always compared, in a way, they got free advertising, free marketing for their cloud gaming if they ever did it, right? The Netflix for gaming is what people call Stadia. It's what people call Luna, right? So in a way, like they had an opportunity for free marketing to kill this if they really wanted to, like and then we get this, right? I feel like it's a missed opportunity, but who knows, maybe this is something to build upon, and in the future it can become something great. But yeah, it's just underwhelming right now for sure. Cool. Anyone else with this before we move to GFN? No one else? Okay, cool. So again, GFN, like I was saying, give us the November roadmap, right? Not that impressive. But then they also let us know that people who pre-ordered the 3080 tier in the US, some of those people are going to get it this month, right? So we know that certain people are already receiving the upgrade to the 3080 tier. So again, like for the people in the chat, let us know if you got yours, and if so, let us know how you experienced this. But just want to open that up to the panel. What are your thoughts about this 3080? I know a lot of you guys here haven't actually tested it yet, but based on the videos you've watched and based on, just talking to people who have tested it, is this the real deal, do you think, for cloud gaming? Or do you think this is just a bunch of noise right now? So we'll get started with you, Duncan. What's your take on this 3080 tier? Someone from your camp has it, right? Makers, right?
Yeah,
So
Maker.
how is he liking his experience?
He is still, I think he's just recently got it in the last 24 hours. So he hasn't done a great deal of playing on it, but he was on Guardians of the Galaxy today, given the word, and he could notice the difference straight away. I'm excited. There is some other stuff going on, but GFN are definitely grabbing the headlines at this moment in time in the cloud gaming space with the 3080. It's getting mentioned everywhere on normal sort of gaming podcasts. It's getting mentioned. It's like one of their lead topics. You can now play a 3080 in the cloud. They're pushing these big, massive streamers now with it as well. I am just really excited to get my hands on it when I actually get my hands on it, just to give it a whirl, because I think it's really, really exciting. And I just want to start testing some of these games that you guys and all of you have been able to, just to see what it's like. Just because, as you know, with the cloud, it's everybody's experience is slightly different, and I just want to make sure it's going to be dead on for me. And just to say, it's pushing the median forward, and I think a lot of people don't realize what this actually opens up. It's not even just the games which you're playing now. It's even the old games in your library are going to be nearly a remaster, because you'll be able to pick them up to everything full whack, and you're going to be going, I can't even believe how this game plays. This is why I just can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, and it's so true, right? Playing old games, like you see the difference is definitely noticeable, and man, it makes playing old games fun again, which is pretty cool, right? But Ray, what's your thoughts on this 3080 based on
I think it's something really, really good for consumers, because for those who can't get the top of the line rig, I know people can't even get those parts for the rig. I mean, 35 teraflops, 28 RAM, 120 frames per second. I mean, damn, that's a dream right there. I tell my son, I'm like, man, if you could see what I played with when I was your age and what you guys are getting now, the days of spending $500-$600 on a console, you don't need to do that. You can get an awesome rig in the cloud. I think that's great for gamers. I love innovation. I love I mean, I've watched all these systems upgrade and change, and this is just in the cloud. I mean, I remember I had people laughing at me, telling me that this was something that wasn't going to happen until 2030, it would never happen.
Right.
And here it is, it's happening.
Yeah.
And so I, as a gamer, and then just watching, you know, Dr. Spaceman and Vet and Meg, their streams and how they're enjoying it and loving it, man, I'm happy. I'm happy for the gamers.
Yeah. Good take with that. Thank you for your
GTP has admitted he's wrong already, because he didn't think that this tech and cloud gaming was going to be here for another 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
He's been impressed. It's been funny to watch this.
He did say that. Yes, he did. He did.
Yeah.
He loves it. He loves it.
Oh my goodness. I can't stop talking about it. He actually said he's playing that more than his local consoles right now, which is good stuff. But Chase, what's your take on this, man?
So I a couple people have already echoed it, but I think the biggest thing is I would say, and it's in two buckets. So the first piece, because you know my philosophy is, folks need to test it for themselves. You know, it's going to vary for everyone's use case. Duncan kind of said that as well a moment ago, that you know, your proximity to the server, the device you use, your network conditions, that can cause things to vary. So I think that's really important, is that for any of these services. But I think if you just look at the blade itself and the tech that's in it, what it's doing is it's driving the technology forward. When the technology moves forward, what does that do? Competition exists. What does competition do? It gives us the best value to dollar options as consumers, and it's like a buffet. What's in front of you, you can look at all these different options that are there. You look at what the offerings are. You decide for your specific use case, does that fit my situation? Does it have the games that I want to play? We all play different genres of games. Like, I'm a FPS third-person shooter fan and an MMO fan, and I guarantee you probably more than half of the chat doesn't fall into that genre of games. And you know what? That's where this is going to be a beautiful thing with the way the competition is right now, is all these different services have so many different reasons that they have pros, and then there's some drawbacks. So you have to look and see what's going to be best for you. But I think ultimately, if you look at it just on its face, the fact that it's moving the technology forward, now these other competitors have to start looking at the landscape and decide, where do I fit into this larger portrait, if you will, and do I want to be in that same place as them, or do I want to be kind of, again, back to that conversation we had surrounding Luna, do we want to be that value offering? And that's where you're going to have to decide for your use case, is that where you want to get your games, or do you want to go to that higher option? And it's going to vary for everybody, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So I'm glad you said all that, Chase. So when Stadia released, right, you know, they were ahead of the game, and I feel like their competition was playing catch up, right? And like you were saying, Ben, GTP was saying, and he said it here before, like he was thinking this tech was, you know, 2 to 5 years away. And I'm reading the chat, some of you guys who are thinking the same thing too, right? How big of a leap is this in performance and technology? And do you guys, like you were saying, Chase, do you see the competition? This pushes the envelope, but do you see anyone catching up to this anytime soon?
Very quickly.
Really?
Well, no, yes, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
AMD is getting ready to have an event this upcoming week, and they're already getting ready to do server blade versions of the RX 6800 XT, which is their 3080 equivalent in the cloud. This is that's why I said, like, I look at this, and Ace, you know, we've had this conversation, and Chief has heard me say this, Hell Monkey, Duncan, Ray, Ben, I've said this so many times when I've been here over on the show, is that this is a marathon. There are going to be lead changes constantly. Geforce Now right now, based off of what people are saying, appears to have that performance leap and that lead.
Right.
But in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, that could change. This marketplace is so dynamic right now in this space that there's going to be lead changes. It's not going to stop. And as one form of technology takes over, another form of it will come up and will then start to be the dominant factor. So it's not going to stop. To your question, it is going to force the competition to have to make moves. And again, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing. And I'm going to even go farther with this question. Who do you think is going to make the first move to get close to this?
We've already know who's made the first move. Who's going to be taking these new AMD ones?
Who?
I don't like saying the name of the company.
Stadia?
No. Ray knows it.
Tencent?
Uh,
Who? You gotta say it. You can't leave the chat hanging, bro.
it's Blacknut.
Who?
Because Ray makes a joke all the time about that company, so he does. But yes, they've already signed up for that, and they're actually demoing that.
Who are they? Like
It's
what?
a French company, cloud company.
Oh,
And it's not Black Nuts, it's one nut.
Black
Nut.
Black Nut.
Black Nut.
Black Nut.
Okay.
They didn't have any games that
It's a fun
would
name.
warrant that card, or the card that we've got now.
Okay, so I guess my question more realistic. I get it, Black Nut or whoever that is.
when he says it's even funnier
Sorry.
because he says it slowly, like separating the words.
Sorry, y'all, but like they can do that, but let's be realistic, right? Until they do, who, based on who we know right now, can make that graphical performance leap to rival GFN?
Stadia White Label.
No, they're a year away, I reckon, at least. Because yes, this event's happening, Chase, but for them to put those blades into place,
Right.
test them, roll it out on the games, stress test, you're looking at 6 months at least, realistically.
That is
the
such
only
a tough
ones I think
question.
would be the ones that are already working towards something similar to this is Shadow. But the Shadow price point is going to be so high.
Yeah.
You thought that the GFN price was bad?
I mean,
it's going to be nothing.
$30 for boost right now, bro. I can't even imagine.
I swear to God, they go up. I'm dropping them. They go up. 30 is,
dude.
It's
crazy.
50 is my max, depending on what they're going to add.
They're going to charge 50 for a 2080. So the fact that they doubled the price of boost to 30 means that a 2080 equivalent, you're looking at 60, 70 minimum. And then storage on
I
top.
think $999 for like a 3000 series, and like 60 to 70 for 2000 rig, and boost might get a little performance upgrade, but
you got to also you're getting a rig and a computer. You're getting a cloud PC and a rig. So
$30 a month for a cloud PC is not awful. They just need better hardware, but to do that, they need more people using it because they can't justify the cost of all the servers unless they have a population. As soon as Microsoft launches their consumer version of that, which they're working on, then that's just I see that as killing Shadow, even if it's not as good, because they're gonna have so many people using it. And they don't have to have great hardware on their cloud computers if they have enough people using them that they're efficient.
True.
Well, Ace, to your question real quick, and I think Hellmonkey was going to jump in. I didn't mean to take the space, but just for a second, is that your question? I don't think you're going to have an answer for a little bit on that, because one, like Mark Chief just said, those GPUs are so brand new, they're going to have to get contracts in place with entities. And that takes time. So we don't know who's going to use them, and there's no guarantee. Just because I'm trying to be very careful how I say this. Just because we know that there are some companies using AMD architecture right now, doesn't mean or guarantee that they're going to upgrade up to that. We don't know that for sure. So I'm just trying to caution people: don't get your hopes too high one way or the other. Let it unfold and see exactly what actually happens before you jump too far ahead.
So the reason I bring up this question is, just like the advantage Stadia had for quite some time, realistically speaking, I don't see for at least 6 months to a year any company match in the cloud what GFN has put out right now. Like Xbox, we know they're working on upgrading, but even performance-wise, I don't think that's gonna even touch that 3080 rig. So I'm saying they just have a huge advantage right now, and I think for quite some time when it comes to performance.
Somebody mentioned it in chat. I think if the Rainway deal, the Rainway SDK, is dealt with and PC games come into xCloud's fold, in the next 6 months, then they might rival GFN-ish. But they're obviously only working with the power of the Series X as their top end. And we know that the 3080 is, depending on the rest of the PC, better than a Series X. So the GFN starting with a better base. But we're also seeing benchmarks that it's not quite performing as high as we had expected as a 3080. It's still a huge leap forward for 1440 gaming and up to 120 FPS, but it's still not quite that of a local RTX 3080 with a decent CPU and memory. So it's a wait and see. Obviously, I've not got my hands on it here in the UK yet. I'm going to have to wait another few weeks at least. But from what we've seen from your footage and feedback from everybody, it's definitely a huge leap. And I think you're right, and I think Chase is right. We're looking at probably a 6-month lead before anybody comes with anything to challenge it.
But this
And
is
the price is going to keep it that way for quite some time. They've been very clever with their price point and their availability, because they're saying that it's a limited availability. They're not giving figures. And you've got the two camps firmly out there of, oh my God, this is a bargain, to the, that's ridiculously expensive, I'm not going anywhere near it. So they've got their market cornered. We know that they're the high-end premium cloud gaming service now, but it's still not quite the full Shadow PC. And that's where that price point sits, because you're looking at $30 a month for Shadow PC, which you can play anything on apart from Genshin or Valorant or on a handful of others. But you're limited to your space, right? 250 gig on base. Otherwise, you pay $3 extra a month. You're looking at 2-3 games realistically. So it's still that balancing act with Geforce Now at that $16 a month. Not every single game, but you can access up to 1,000 games instantly. So it really is a big balancing act across all these services right now. And what it has shown and what has been exciting over the last couple of weeks is just how many people were really interested in that. Even though I've got a local 3080, I'm really, really want to get my hands on this, because since I updated to a 1440 monitor, everything looks crap in the cloud because it's stretched from 1080. So you see that on every service, and it's terrible. And I'm sorry, Stadia, you look crap on a PC monitor at 1440, let alone 4K. So anybody who's got a 4K monitor, I really feel for you, because the TV looks great. On a monitor, nah, I couldn't play. Even with forced 4K playing Breakpoint, which I bought the Ultimate Edition of when that launched, I couldn't play on my PC. I had to go down to my TV because it just looked horrendous. So this leap, I hope, kicks at least Stadia and others into gear to work on their streaming tech more than the games.
We're talking about $1 billion industry. Oh, hell yeah. People are going to upgrade their tech, and they want that share of that $1 billion pie. So they're going to be coming. But I got to give it up. GFN, they definitely stepped it up. And especially, look where they came from. They were getting their games taken away from them when they had it, and look where they're at now. So, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of cloud service coming soon.
Right. I think it's funny you use that expression, the piece of the pie, because I love the way like Phil Spencer put it in an interview a few months ago. Like, he doesn't see it as a piece of the pie. Like, it's not a limited pie. Like, people don't have to have just one. The gaming is the kind of industry where everybody can have as many as they can afford. They don't need to have. They're not limited to just one user, one option. Like, you pick up your cell phone, you unless you have like a work cell phone and a personal cell phone, you really have no need for more than one cell phone service. There's really not for the vast majority of people. Gaming is not like that. Most people have, a PlayStation and a Switch, or, an Xbox and a PC, or they have various combinations. So, and the gaming industry knows that. So they're racing out there, not necessarily to be the best, to conquer all, but just to be out there. The more people play, the more money they all make. It doesn't matter who's the winner. It's a different perspective. It's a different industry.
True. All right, so we still have so much to talk about with GFN, right? So let's move to that. They give us the roadmap of November. I would say week, month, but let's not sleep on that though, right?
Can I
I feel
just
like this.
say 10 games a week? Last week I gave him Jip for 5. How many
Yeah,
was there this week?
what was it?
There's only 4.
Four.
So are we going to see like 26 games next week?
Yeah. So four
Hope so.
games, yeah, 4 games this week, 17 games, I believe they're saying for the month of November, right? And the games, just be real, they're not the greatest games of all time.
See, I think there's a game in here which is going to be completely overlooked by a lot of people.
What
There's
game is
probably
that?
I will get to that. I will get to that.
Okay.
I'm going for my bit of playing here.
All right, go
Yes,
for it.
there is a game on that list which has probably more people playing on it than there is in some cloud gaming services.
Duncan, don't say Bakery Simulator, man, please.
No,
Okay.
it is Tale of Immortal. And if you look at the concurrence on that, there's over 30,000. It's another game in the top 50 of Steam. It's not in at the moment, but over today, it had over 30,000 people playing it.
Huh.
And Hell Monkey is going, "Oh my god!" Or is he just tired? It's one of them.
No, just I'm on our website looking at the games and realised that even though the storefronts are underlined in blue, the links aren't there, so I need to go fix that right now. So
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So do you think that might be like another Valheim type situation?
And no, the thing about this game has already been released. This game has been out since January, so it is another game which is sticking there. So I think a lot of people don't actually understand that a lot of the games which are coming to GFN are PC sort of gamer games, and this game is a one which I hadn't heard of until it actually came onto this list. And when I went and did my investigating on it, there's over 30.
Is it this one? The
No,
last and
it's the Immortal one, the last Immortal one.
Tale of Immortal.
Taylor of Immortal, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the very bottom
okay.
one. It's an early access game. It has been out from January, and there is, if you look at even if the Steam reviews there's I think that's over 100,000 people reviewed this. This game is a sleeper, which a lot of people are probably not aware of. Again,
what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's
bro.
an acquired taste by the looks
Yeah.
of it. I think there's
Yeah.
2 other
Not
sleeper
a
games
game.
in this month's list. There's definitely 2 sleeper games here, but it's not 40 games a month, which is what I'm going to hold them to account for.
But we've said it before. Yes, I agree, Chief. They're not hitting the goal that they said they would. But we got to remember, they're not appealing to console gamers. They don't care. Like their focus is PC gamers, and PC gamers have a different taste in games. Yes, they like the high FPS, the high graphics, but they also like a lot of the indie stuff, the small stuff that's extremely popular that nobody's ever heard about because you can only get on Steam.
So let me talk about last month for GFN, right? They give us the roadmap, and I would have to say the 2 biggest games on the list for that month they didn't announce, which was the Crisis Trilogy and New World, right? And again, I feel like the same. We were talking about Luna. I feel like it's the same thing. I feel like these companies are keeping stuff close to the chest for this month, and it seems like there's something bigger that they're just not announcing yet, right? So I don't think this is all. We see GFM when they put out a list like this, come out with games that are not on this list that takes our breath away. Maybe more EA
Fully
games.
expect them to add to this list, but there's been 2 weeks running with considerably less than the 10 a week
I agree.
that they kind
I
of
agree.
committed to. So
I agree.
there's going to have to be a lot of games this month to kind of
Yeah.
make up that deficit. But
Yeah.
I will say that Severed Steel I've been watching for quite some time. I'm actually really, really happy this is coming to GFN.
Wait,
and
which
anybody on a 3080 Severed Steel. third from the bottom.
All right, let's check.
That is going to be epic. I really can't wait to play this. This is like super hot VR meets.
Oh my god!
Ghost Runner.
What's it called? Yeah, well, Ghost Runner and obviously Max Payne because it's got the bullet time. This video does not do it justice on the stream. So
Yeah.
go have a look at that.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that does look interesting.
Mayhem. And Bright Memory Infinite, which
Bright Memory is going to be good.
That's
Bright Memory
game.
Infinite's going to break the internet, I think, when that releases.
Yeah.
See, for me, this month's games in GFN, I know I think the problem with it, obviously, the number of games is a lot less. We're sitting slagging them off with what's it, 27? What's it, 27 games or 17?
27
games. Out from all these games, I want to play all of them.
So and now?
Yes, I want to. This month's one is a month where I want to actually get stuck into every single one, even Farming Simulator, because I've actually been watching Farming Simulator streams here, and we know that's going to Stadia as well. So that isn't me just going, "Oh, this is thing." But I think the problem with the games this month, there is just no big AAA one which is going to grab people by and shake them up and go, I need to really play this.
So
Bright Memory Infinite is that game. I would class this as a AAA, the way that this is going to hit the headlines.
If anyone hasn't played the original or the first Bright Memory, I implore you to go play it.
I played it. It's tough, man. It's hard.
It is hard. But keep in mind, so the whole time that I was playing it, I just kept thinking to myself, one person alone developed that game. Yeah. It's very short, but there's so much quality in there. And now that the second edition is coming, or the second installment is coming, and this development team now have a ton more resources, go and check out the RTX trailer. It's on our website for the latest GFN news. It is absolutely beautiful, man. It's just, and that's what I want from my games, is the uber realistic style of it. I don't think I'm going to see it in my lifetime, but we're heading towards a time zone in games where they're going to at one point be indistinguishable from real life. Like, we'll get there. I think it's definitely going to happen. We see the improvements in VR and things like that, and then with all the AI tools available that your NVIDIAs and your AMDs are able to concoct now. Some of the world's fantastic, most greatest engineers working in these things. Bright Memory is definitely going to be that game where you take a step back and just admire how fantastically well it's been put together. You might not enjoy the gameplay sort of thing. It might not be your style of game, but you have to just sit back and admire the hard work and the dedication it's going into a game like this. And not a good week.
I think that
overall, though,
not a good week. Yeah, I would agree with you. But I do think that game is going to be a great game to showcase, the 3080 blades for sure. But I think that we're going to see more. Again, they can't just launch a blade like this and give us this crap of a month. They can't do that.
There's 2 other huge games launching this month, aren't they? And if neither of those hit GFN, then it's going to hit their numbers pretty hard, I think.
Mm-hmm. What games are those? Battlefield and what else?
Forza and Battlefield.
Yep.
Forza is definitely not coming.
Not going, I mean, stranger things have happened.
It is on Steam.
New World. It's on Steam. New World game.
Guys.
An Amazon game.
No. Microsoft took the games off, and I don't think we've seen it come back anytime soon. But think about Battlefield and the showpiece that can be for that 3080 tier.
I'm really hoping for that because it's got Battlefield 1. They could bring other Battlefield games. They could bring the whole franchise.
I think it's gonna happen.
This might sound bad, but in a way, I don't want xCloud to get Battlefield. I really don't, because unless they beef up
It's
their.
already got it.
No, I mean the newest one. Maybe I'm
10-hour free
selfish.
trial. It's already there.
Wait, what? Not
10-hour
an.
free trial has already been confirmed.
It's part of EA Play.
Game Pass, yeah, EA Play.
But it's not an xCloud.
No, none
Okay,
of them.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. But yeah. Anywho, I just being selfish. 1080p for Battlefield, man. No thanks. Right? Like, I don't know.
Such
I don't
a
know.
snob. He gets a new monitor, man, in 1080p. No more.
No, again, it's just me being selfish, man. I think that game can, oh my goodness, shine with that 3080 tier, man. Like,
Well,
they got to make that happen.
There's
It'll
one
be so
more.
dope.
There's one more little kind of detour to the story for GFN this month, though, and I think you have to kind of address it,
Yes, sir.
which is the frame situation going on.
Yeah. So
and
break that down, Chase. Let people know who might not know about that and what's happening with that.
Well, a user noticed playing Cyberpunk that they were being capped at 45 frames.
Yeah.
And I believe that was on Priority and on Founders. There's been no word about anything higher than that as far as overall. But I think that the issue is the transparency piece. There's no language. There's no FAQ about what they do on that, when they do it, how they do it, what justifies them being able to do that. And when I say that, let me just say this real quick. There's people that are fine playing 30 frames per second. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you want to play a game at that, that's fine. But I do think it's important that these companies put out what is actually the expectation, and then we can decide for ourselves how we want to go about it. And whatever you choose to do, that's perfectly fine. But I don't know, man. That's causing a big concern for some people. I saw Reddit post about it. Twitter was pretty upset about it. And I think NVIDIA, I think they got to say something on it. They need to speak on it, and they need to address it and not let it get out of hand, because you just launched a brand new tier. Big deal. And it's a really positive thing, but all these platforms got to be accountable, man. They all need to be transparent about what the expectations are, especially because we can't alter the performance. We have no control over the performance like a PC or a console. So that's a bit of a concern, you know? So
yeah, it's a huge concern. And transparency, like you were saying, is huge, right? So I'm hoping they do the right thing and just make we know GFN, we know testing is huge for them. You know, before a game comes, they got to make sure that it runs well. So if this is something that's ongoing testing, it would be great for them to just be like, you know, that's what's happening. But yeah, I agree. It's huge. It's big. Again, with their launch and them working to build trust, and they've done a good job, right? So they have to maintain that and continue that. So we'll see. But I agree, Chase. It's big. It's a big deal.
You've already bought them. Too bad.
Yeah.
No refunds.
I'm still loving mine, though. I'm still loving mine. Not gonna argue there. But anyone else who want to add to that? I do want to move.
Yeah, I just want to give a bit of balance for one. So yeah, some people are definitely seeing caps. I'm not denying that they're showing the benchmarks with settings, and it's been verified across several posts and several people. Definitely happening in the EU it just seems to be two games, Cyberpunk and Guardians of the Galaxy. So not sure why. We've had no official response on that. Also, the email has not been verified. So the image that's going around, that if you actually look at it, does look a little bit shady, the way that the image is formatted. So we don't actually have any confirmation from anybody else that is fact, that was from customer response. So I would still hold off until we have official word. They have been silent on this. And Ray, you got something to say?
Ray, go ahead.
I've seen the streams with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I've seen them up. I've never seen anybody cap or down. I've seen them up and look amazing. So, yeah.
That's a good shout, Mark Chief. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, exactly.
The only other thing I can think of and this is speculation, is if it's one of the companies that GFN contracts with, like the Turkish one that they use in Eastern Europe and everything, to get GFN service to people. So they use different cloud companies to get their service in different parts of the world, like Brazil and Eastern Europe. If they're seeing that, I could see one of those companies doing that without GFN's knowledge. But again, that's just speculation. I know that the one in Turkey, that a lot of people were really mad when that's the one they chose because they had a lot of corruption issues, like just scandals before GFN made that deal with them. So I could see that happening. But again, that's just speculation.
As I said, we've seen the benchmarks proving it. But what I'm saying is there is still a lot of information missing, and nobody, I've just had a quick scan back through the 300 odd comments on the Reddit threads on this. Nobody has outright verified that they have had the same response. So not only has somebody succeeded in kicking up a huge fuss, but they've also succeeded in flooding Geforce Now support services with questions on a picture. So they've not normally, when something like this happens, like the leak, NVIDIA did come out with a official statement. So I would certainly wait until we get that. But we've also, as Ray said, seen proof the other way of it not being capped. So there's definitely something weird going on. Now it's also been verified that it's not happening at all on the 3080 tier. It's only on priority tier or free tier. We've only got these people's word for it on what tier they're on. So it's a really horrible situation right now, but nobody can prove it outright one way or the other. So it's just a really awkward situation, I think, for everybody right now.
Do you think that GFN might not have addressed the issue yet because they're not aware that it was happening, and they might be reaching out to their server farms that they're using, like reaching out to the clients that they're using?
There's so many unknowns here. So this only kicked off a couple of days ago. So it may well be, like you said, that they've launched their own internal investigation to figure out what's happening.
It could take a few days.
It might be
to a couple weeks.
Pipeline, like you say. It might be intentional. But they did change the CPUs on people without telling people. So when they changed the 2080 from a 8 CPU vCPU down to a 4 CPU, it was only detected when people started running benchmarks and found that that had halved during the pandemic that happened. So it's not unknown for them to change specs without telling people, although they did admit that eventually. So I can't say that they haven't done it, but we can't say that they have either at this point.
Well, then they just need to come out and address it. See, and that's where I can't give a pass on that. If it's not what's happening, they need to say something. You can't let it fester for weeks.
If they're doing an internal investigation, it might be more destructive for them to come out and say that yes, it's happening, than for them to wait and find out why it's happening. But if they don't know that that's the problem, they're not doing it on purpose.
But they can just make a statement saying,
we're working on it.
Like
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's
we're looking into it. Yeah,
we're looking into it.
Yeah.
But what if they've seen this and they've seen all the flood of support, and they're just like, well, it's not true. And what if they just ignore it? And then it all gets forgotten about because it's really not true.
But that's not how you go about it, though.
No, I know. No, but I am asking the question: what happens if they do that?
They lose trust again, and they've worked so hard to try to gain trust.
So this has been one of my gripes as well throughout GFN's existence. They're really bad at communicating when a stressful situation happens. Death Stranding, how long was that in maintenance? A ridiculous amount of time without any communication. Just come out and tell us, look, we're having trouble with this game. We are doing our best to fix it under the circumstances we're in right now. We'll let you know as soon as it's ready. 7 days later, look, this is taking extremely long amount of time. Yeah, look, it's not good when it happens. It does not look good. just put up a wee post. Let your users know that you are actively seeking a fix. Do not be quiet. The worst thing you can do is say nothing sometimes. I echo everything that everyone's saying, but the cynic in me, being that I am Scottish, believes that they are a company, they are out to make money, and that these caps could come into place to try and force users to a higher tier. I would hate if that was true.
Yeah.
I would not like that if that was true. That is completely anti-consumer. But at the same time, living in the world that we live in today, it would not surprise me either. So, too many unanswered questions that they really need to come out and make a statement. Just let us know.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'll
Go ahead, Duncan.
I'll follow the North Englishman there. Trying to get a reaction. I'm just getting the dirty looking stares.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think they really need to come out and say something one way or the other. They are damaging themselves at this moment in time with not answering one way or the other. They are getting some serious hype out there. We've talked about it. Marchief has talked about it. I think all of us have talked about it. Everybody is getting excited for GFN because of these 3080 rigs, and it's starting to get. In the Reddit community anyway, it's getting overshadowed now because of this possible cap. I think we need to hear something one way or the other, even if it's it's completely false, and they need to shut it down. If it is true, they need to come out and clarify what is going on there as well.
It could be something as simple as we've noticed, because we're binoculars on watching every server center in Europe right now that goes under maintenance, waiting to see if these 3060s appear. It could be something as simple as they were doing some maintenance in these servers, swapping some things out, and for a limited time they had to bottleneck while they were doing certain things, or reduce the quality for some time while they make. Just let us know that that's what you were doing. If it is something, it could be something as simple as that. It also could be something as cynical as I previously said. So just let us know.
Yeah, true. I do want to move on. Thank you, GFN, for taking up an hour this time. But let's move on to Google Stadia. Thank you guys for your input, man. I hope, right, that the people watching can get some answers. I mean, that's a big thing right now in the Reddit community. So, yeah, we're aware of it. Hopefully, GFN people watch this and give the people a response. But let's move to Stadia again. This is the first week since they announced that they were going bi-weekly with news on Tuesdays, right? So again, just want to know, how was it for you guys this week? I felt a little sad, man. Like I was waiting for that beautiful Tuesday Stadia blog post, and nothing. Going the whole week without a Stadia blog post is I don't know, felt a little weird.
Would it be
But
weird if I said I didn't notice?
I was thinking the same thing, Chief.
my goodness, guys.
Apart from the fact that I wasn't taking the mick out of Reddit because it was late, on
You-
Discord because it was late.
You have a black heart towards Stadia.
I want
Black
Stadia
heart
to be
towards
better, but-
Stadia. I was
Yeah,
after sad. I was like, something is missing,
5
man.
blog posts last week. I'm surprised that there wasn't something small anyway.
Yeah, but stuff did happen in the Stadia community, right? Just Dance 2022 was something that was released, and then we had. I don't know too much about this. Haven't done a lot of research, but there's some multiplayer stuff going on. Anyone aware of what that is for Stadia? What is it, Monkey?
So there is now a new option in your privacy settings that you can turn on or off, which
Okay.
will let your friends jump straight into the game you're playing without the need for an invite, which is cool, and it would be amazing if they had it in more than one game, because right now it's only Far Cry 6.
So only just one game supports that.
Yeah,
I hope they
Just
roll it
like
out.
direct touch.
there's going to be more, but
Yeah.
Don't launch it with one game.
What was this? Sorry, I missed it. I was reading the chat. What did you say with the feature?
So in your privacy settings, you can turn on or off the ability to let your friends jump into the game that you're playing without the need for an invite. But it's only on Far Cry 6 right now.
So that's like the couch co-op feature for Luna, no?
Not
No,
really.
this is just so that, like you can on Steam or Xbox, where you see a person playing a game, you go,
You can
okay,
just
I'm gonna
join their
jump
game.
in and
Oh,
join their
okay.
team and start playing co-op.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a cool feature,
Mhm.
but it would be better in games like Division 2, Ghost Recon, Breakpoint, Outcasters, any multiplayer game, basically. Yeah.
So,
but
being able to turn that off is important, though, especially if you're streaming, because you don't necessarily want random people jumping in on your stream.
Here's the thing as well, just to clarify. I went into my settings today to check it, and it's automatically turned on for me. So just double check in case you don't want any random people jumping in your game, and make sure that you're fine with the settings that's there. But for me, it was already on. Yeah. So it depends what your settings are set to. So like if you have like friends can join your game, etc., or if it's like everyone public, you need to go in and make sure you are happy with those privacy settings, because it's automatically turning that on depending on what your settings already are.
True. Chief, my camera's gonna die like in 2 seconds, so I'm gonna switch it. But just want to know, just want to know, any of you guys sad though? None of you guys, you guys weren't sad to not get a Stadia blog post?
That's normal,
they haven't really delivered much for the last several months, like in terms of news. Like it's like once every 2 weeks anyway they've delivered anything decent. So it's like it doesn't feel any different. It's just official now.
I will come from a different sort of tact.
Thank you, Duncan. Thank you.
Yes, it's good. I have said about a month and a half ago, the way Stadia should run this week on Stadia is drop it on a Friday and use it as a recap of what happened in the week. Because this week, even though it was a slower week, there was still things to talk about. You had your multiplayer, you had your Just Dance, there was probably some updates there, and you could have maybe put a post out there asking people to join FIFA because everybody's having problems with FIFA multiplayer to try and get the numbers built up there. No, yeah, that's me just being naughty there. But I do think Stadia shouldn't be doing this once a fortnight. It should be at least weekly, bung it on a Friday, and there should be the more regular blog posts of the week, because there is still a lot of stuff to talk about on Stadia if they can maybe put more resources into that department, because I am not blaming the guys there. I just think it is a resource issue. They're not getting enough resources in there to actually put these blog posts out and getting the news out there for everybody, because there's always something to talk about. Is Nerf to play weekend going on at the moment in Stadia?
Yeah. Ghost Recon Breakpoint, yeah.
So there's a blog post. There's your Just Dance is a blog post. Your feature is a blog post. And this week in Stadia, rounding it up.
If they would have released that, you'll probably hear us complaining that this was a weak week for Google Stadia, right?
And just like every other week.
It's better
if they
want
to do. So to me, their best options for them in terms of like marketing, like with a post, is either like Duncan's saying on a Friday, recap what happened, or do a roadmap every 2 weeks. You can't do a recap every 2 weeks. That's a terrible business model.
I'm curious to see. Yeah.
They already do the recap every month.
It's pointless to do it every 2 weeks as well as once a month.
What would make sense is tell us this is what's happening for the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
And then this is what's happening for this week. And drop a wee blog post here and there. Like Just Dance is coming. So tell us, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, this is what's happening in the next week or two. Just Dance is coming. And if they want to do a secondary piece on its own about Just Dance and the features in the game and how to play the game, because I think you have to use your phone for that one, don't you? something. Was that what it was in the last ones as well?
Yeah.
Explain to people how to use it. Maybe get some of the developers or the publishers some comments and things like that. To me, that's the way it should happen. And to me, it just looks like they don't know what's coming on a weekly basis. For some reason, they don't want to tell us what's coming, so they just drop it and don't even tell us, because I didn't know until today that Just Dance 2022 was on the service. Like, they didn't tweet it. I don't pay attention to Reddit, so if it was on there, then fair enough. But I didn't see a trailer on YouTube, although that could have been lost amongst my notifications. Yeah,
So
nothing interesting happened this week, really. So there isn't really anything to talk about. But
sure. Okay. So Jay Smith is here saying, if they did that, what you were requesting, we'll be here complaining about it.
no, I wouldn't, because to me that would tell me that they have a plan in place and they actually seem to have some sort of structure around what they're doing. Right now it looks like there is no structure and they're just throwing things out when they can.
It sounds like they need more project managers. Like, they don't have, it looks like they don't have plans and motions, and what happens when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have no schedule, no calendar. Like, this is what it feels like for months now. Every time they announce it, like they said they were only gonna do a post once every 2 weeks. Then they drop things for like a week and they recap what they dropped. And it's not like, what's coming next. We have no idea. Like, there's very little clue as to what's coming next. And that's not good when you're trying to grow. Like, you need to let your potential customers and your current customers, users in this case, know what to expect, where to buy the games.
Guys, I've found a solution here, man. Vic for president, man.
Yeah.
Hi, Victor. Let's get it done.
Ace,
Get it done.
let me
ahead.
add something in that and I saw Mark Chief was also getting ready to talk too. So let me just make this quick.
No, you're good. Go.
I'm gonna go back to the point I made earlier when we were talking about Luna. I don't think either of these companies, either Amazon or Google, that their primary focus is on the consumer side of the house. And I know that may be tough for some folks to accept. I'm just trying to tell you an honest opinion, and this is just my opinion from the standpoint of having been around business, having seen how companies operate when they start moving towards more of a B2B structure, and they're focusing on, they're going to let this live, they're going to allow it to make them some money, but their primary focus is not on that specific piece. Like, again, I don't think Stadia or Luna is going to go away. They're still going to be there. If it continues to bring in money, they'll still take that money. It doesn't cost them anything else to run that service for free on their infrastructure. It doesn't. They're not paying that. They're not having to worry about using somebody else's server farm to have Stadia run. So it's a no-cost situation to them. But their focus...
Maybe not no cost, but low cost.
Yes, fair enough. Yes, fair enough. But you know what I mean. It's not running on someone else's data center where they're having to actually have a contract. So at the end of the day, they're going to focus on where is the most revenue going to come in. And if you look at their spreadsheets and even their most recent quarterly earnings, look at where they're making their most money. It's in advertising in the cloud. It's not on consumer products. So they're going to go to where they're going to make the most money. And again, that's not to be a slight towards Stadia. It's just to say that right now that is not the number one priority for them. And you're still going to get games on the platform. There's games coming out. We know there's games coming out next year, right? We know there's going to be new titles coming out. What's one of them? Extraction's one of them, right? You're going to be getting XDefiant at some point. So it's not like there's not titles coming to the platform. It's just, is that where Google's primary focus is? And I again, to be honest, I don't think it is. Yeah. That's not where their primary focus is right now. In time, will it be? Probably. Once cloud takes off and it's the primary way that most people play, I guarantee you Google will shift that narrative back to, yep, this needs to be the primary focus, and that's where the money will go. But it's just, it doesn't seem to be that right now.
I agree, Chase. And I think it's, it's interesting because like so many people in the community have gotten excited anytime there's a new job posting regarding Stadia. But if you look at those job postings, most of them have nothing to do with consumers. It's like all on the business side. And it really, it just points to the fact of what you're saying, that they're not really showing interest in the consumer right now. They're showing interest in the business partners more than the consumer.
Yeah.
Which, that's fine. They want to make money. It's Google. It's what they do.
I was just going to back up your point here, Ben. I think everybody is focused on the Stadia job listings when they come out. I think I used to do that. I've taken a bit of a step back this week or over the last 2 weeks on Stadia, but even we'll go into things like the new feature which has been dropped, the new dev channels where you can, and it's mentioning other storefronts again. And another thing that's on the stadia.dev. It's the latest blog post. It's funny, I dropped that on my Twitter feed, and 15 minutes later it turns up in Reddit, even though it's been out for days. I just find that funny. Going back to the job listings, if you're really interested in seeing where Stadia and where Google actually are placing things, go in to LinkedIn and Google, go in there and search Amazon Luna, go and search Xbox cloud streaming, and then Google Stadia. The job listings just show you. The last time I checked was a couple of days ago, and Luna and xCloud both had a load more job vacancies than Stadia as well. That if you're going to be fair about the job listings, you need to compare it to the so-called competitors out there, and you can see where that's going.
Here's the thing with Stadia as well. They do a lot of work in the background that the average consumer doesn't really see. So, like, say the dev blogs and that. Unless you have an interest in this sort of thing, like we all do, and want to keep up with the latest tech. The people out there that just want to pick up their phone or pick up a controller and play a game, they don't see this. So that's why I find it so hard to believe that they don't promote the games that are coming as much. Like, yeah, listen, I ain't interested in Just Dance 2022. I'm never going to play it, but it's a new game on your service. Let people know. But yeah, let's commend Stadia where it's due. They are consistently bringing new features, whether you think it's going to take the platform anywhere or not. They're working on it. They're always working on the back end stuff, technically speaking. But we've been around companies like Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony for years now that have built up these massive gaming companies and platforms. So anytime a new gaming platform comes out, you expect them to do the same things in terms of marketing and communications and things like that. And maybe you don't like to hear me complaining because they're not doing the same things as that. But if I want to see Stadia go where I believe they can go, I think they need to do this. But again, I think Chase hits a nail on the head every time. And I've said it before, not as articulately. I've just said that they're not a consumer-based company. They're a business and analytics and that, and Chase obviously says it in far greater detail where people can understand than myself. So it's a hard pill. It's a hard pill to swallow when you see the potential and you just see simple things that could just be done better. But praise where praise is due. They are doing a lot of hard work that we don't see or hear about.
I just wanted to say that just very quickly that there are a lot of positives, and I didn't say that at the end, but these features that are being added, again, it offers options to us. We can look at it and say, do they have a compelling offering along with the game? And if it fits your use case, you can go with that. It's not it's not like an end all be all. I'm just trying to put something out there where if you're disappointed and you're frustrated, looking at it in context and then being able to decide for yourself what you want to do. But these features being added, like that feature you just talked about, where people can just join a game without having to have an invite, I got to be honest, that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty awesome.
That will take off when it hits your breakpoints and your Division 2s. I think more than just the one game right now. And they will do it. Like, Stadia is very good.
Devil's advocate, that should have been there from day one with party support, right? And
don't.
We're moving on.
It's just on Xbox and it's on every other system.
Speaking of Xbox, we still have to cover xCloud, and we've only got a few minutes left.
Let's get to it. So It Takes Two.
I love Stadia.
I
love playing on Stadia, and I'm just gonna say, damn. I mean, they do put stuff out. It's just that a lot of people use a magnifying glass on it a lot. But I do agree that they really should have a roadmap, but they don't. But let's be fair. there's other platforms out there that's not doing the same thing. So keep that same energy towards other platforms that are not doing the big long blogs or every day.
That's why I said just like
you mean Sony?
So
I got
here,
a PS5 sitting over here, man. What the hell is going on?
Oh, I agree. I hate
No.
I hate on them as well for not having.
So
you know,
here's the deal. I was just having a good old time this week, right? Dragon Ball Z Kakarot again. Damn it, that game is so good on that platform. But I was playing GFN and I got sick and tired of playing Luna and Luna Kenna. And I was like, man, I want to try a different game. And I was able to like pop up Stadia and get into Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Just the fact that you have so many options in the cloud is just a beautiful thing, right? If one is not doing it for you, try something else. It's magic. You can't hate always on a platform. If you're not feeling it, hop onto something else. Come back to it when you've taken a break from it. But
on that note, Chief, I'm gonna need you to build like a little spinny wheel thing or like an automator, like I'm feeling lucky kind of thing that has a scraper for, GFN, xCloud, and Stadia and Luna, where it just picks a game from all those services.
yeah.
So I don't have to go looking through each one to figure out what I want to play.
Yeah. But that's in a way, that's the beauty of it though. You just have options. I was doing the same thing on Netflix the other day, trying to find something to watch and just hopped onto HBO Max, watch some good stuff over there. Options is a beautiful thing,
I
right?
wasn't hating. I was just stating a fact.
And you have
As far as Luna
and
is
everybody
ridiculous
should
for
have the
its
right to
news,
their
right, Ray?
opinion.
It's
Everybody should have the right to their
ridiculous.
opinion.
But
True.
we're comparing against GeForce Now and Xbox Cloud Gaming that do give us regular roadmaps of what's coming up and then drop the regular releases. So the big
Sony
three,
Sorry.
GeForce Now, Stadia, and Xbox Cloud are the ones that get talked about the most and compared. So Stadia is the only one that we've always had an issue with their marketing, and it just still seems disjointed. Like you said, they've released a feature and a game, but not told anybody. And this 2-week thing just last week was we'll do it every 2 weeks, but then the next 4 days here's a blog post and announcements. It's still all over the place. So
Yeah.
we did say it's going to take a while to settle down, but it's not a great start.
True. Okay. We got to move on to xCloud, but appreciate the feedback and the conversation had here. But we have xCloud to cover, right? Forza Horizon 5. This game looks absolutely stunning. I mean, 4 looked incredible. So again, watching IGN review, they were like, how do you top 4? And these guys so 4 was like rated as one of the best racing games when it came out. And this game is better than that. It's like
so pretty. It's the
how
hyper
in the
realism in it
world?
is just
Dude,
so good.
I used to
It's
vacation in Cabo, so Mexico. So I can't wait to drive a
Yeah.
Lambo on
Yeah.
the beaches. I can't wait.
No, the game looks incredible, but my thing is, I'm I'm a little hesitant, honestly speaking. I don't know if xCloud will be able to do this game justice. I guess we just have to wait and see. Again, just seeing how beautiful this game looks.
So
1080p.
So on that
Forza
note,
4's
just
been
not
hit
gonna
or
cut
miss
it
for
for
a
this
lot of
game.
people. So a lot of eyes are going to be on it for Forza 5.
I'm going to say this. I've been playing it. I've been playing it a fair bit, like I said. It'd be a good time to drop the 4K stream.
yeah, I agree with that.
It is absolutely stunning, and some of it's getting close to hyper realistic. You're driving about, and some of the sky looks phenomenal in it, and you're coming over a
The
mountain.
reflections on the car, like all the details, like you see balloons in the sky, like hot air balloons, and then you see the reflections on the car as you're driving under them.
Yeah.
The thing that's got me the most, and I think Kyle Monkey's into his racing games, and I think he'll know what I'm saying. You get the appreciation of the speed you're going. It is absolutely brilliant. You're doing 200 mile an hour, and you think you're doing 200 mile an hour. You're down the motorway. Everything's just flying at you.
So
I can't wait to try it. I've been watching everybody else's videos because it just looks so good.
Yeah, it really does.
The only other games that would have came close to that sort of feeling would be your proper PC racing simulators, like an F1 or an Assetto Corsa, and Forza 4 gave us all that, and like that's been out for 5 years now, I think. Forza 4.
4 was the previous one.
And it's still so popular. Like, you can go in and there's still loads of random community events, etc. So to improve in 5, I'm a bit like you, Ace. I'm worried that xCloud isn't going to give me a proper performance of what the game deserves. Right. I'm also worried that it lets down with a 10 out of 10 review. But I said that about Guardians of the Galaxy because it's so positively reviewed. What if I don't like it? What if I don't like the changes?
But it's not just IGN giving that review. It's like there's so many reviewers that are just giving it high reviews.
Everyone was giving that high reviews, and I was really worried I wasn't going to like it. But I really don't think it's going to be the case.
You played 4 and you loved 4, right?
Yeah.
And they were saying this is just 4 on steroids, if you want.
But we all have different opinions. We all like different things. So I may not like the changes that they've made.
Was I right about Guardians of the Galaxy?
What did you say? No, I'm not talking to you about that game. You didn't let me in your prize draw as a.
I won the last one. So I was absolutely glowing about Guardians of the Galaxy.
You were.
But at the same time, you play Slay the Spire all the time, and that's a really bad game. So,
before we run out of time, I do want to talk about something about xCloud that's not on our show notes.
Sure.
So I know that for most people watching this, like most of you don't own a console. I know that. I get that. But this is really exciting for me. Like almost as exciting as the fact that Forza 5 is coming out because I really want to play that. Like for pretty much, I think all levels of insiders on Xbox now, doesn't matter like which console you have, you can now play cloud gaming like directly on your Xbox without having to use a browser. So if you're an insider, all you have to do is just open a game on Game Pass. If it's in the cloud, you can click install or click the cloud icon. It's super fast to load up. Like it's ridiculous. And it looked really good when I was playing like several different games. I was playing like Medium and Maneater and a bunch of different things, jumping back and forth, adding them to like a playlist on my Xbox. And like, this is going to be huge for all the people on older consoles that don't want to buy a new console. They can still play the current gen games.
It's true.
I don't think it's they don't want to buy a new console. It's just they can't.
Yeah, find one or
that too.
Price. Yeah,
Ace has got them all.
Ben, stop it. Ben, I think you're right on with this for sure. People who can't afford it or people who can't find one, it's good. And this is Microsoft thinking about the consumers, right? Thinking about how can we make our game accessible to the masses and people who've invested in us previously. Talk about it. Something Microsoft is knocking out the park this generation is pro-consumers. I can't state that enough. They are killing it right now with that. And this is just another one of those things they do really well. But
we'll just quickly plug that we have a video for what Ben's saying on the channel, so do go and check that out. But the big concern with Forza 5 is that Forza 4 looks good on xCloud, great. The latency, not so great.
It's not so good.
So that's been the big problem with a lot of people is the latency on xCloud. So
Duncan, you
Forza
said they
5 is going to be
updated
better.
Yeah, I got the latest one. I'm turning the Windows 11 app, and it is running absolutely fine for me. It is such a big, massive step up from what it was before. That's on the That's in the Windows 11 app. If I go and play it on the browser, it's back to that lovely pixelated mess you see. But playing it in the app, it is running really, really well.
But we
Interesting.
also got to understand, though, certain people are not near certain data centers,
That's
and it's not going to be. And that's what the problem. People don't seem to understand.
Yeah.
What you play ain't what I'm going to play. See, I'm out in
True.
Silicon Valley, so
True.
I'm out here with the. It looks buttery smooth. It looks.
We know they don't care about Scotland because obviously, you know, Hell Monkey just can't
It
stand
looks,
xCloud.
but I've seen somebody stream an xCloud stream, and it looked like crap.
Yeah.
Um,
It looks great for me.
that's
it plays. I love it, and me and my son don't have to fight about deleting games on the Xbox
Yeah.
no more. We
Right.
could just play in the cloud. So
I-
I love Xbox, what they're doing right now. I am so happy.
I went in and deleted like 300 gigs of games that I could easily play in the cloud instead of having downloaded.
Right.
And they look just fine. Like it feels like I'm playing locally for most of those games that are smaller. Like obviously, like if it's like a 100 gig game, I'm going to want to download that because I want the highest performance. But for like all those 10, 20 gig games that it's okay. That it's the graphics are kind of like mid high. Like I don't really need that stuff. Like I'll just do that on xCloud. Unless I need higher performance, then I'll download it.
I like
I
that.
saw Monkey's reaction to
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I know. I saw
That was
that.
so high pitched, man. Fucking.
to Ray's point real quick. xCloud for me and Luna are the two worst performing where I live. I can't get either one of them to run on any device smoothly.
Where are you at, Chase? Florida?
Yeah, and it's a challenge. GFN, I have no issues with if I'm playing on a Chromebook. If I try to play it on the PC, no go, and I've tried everything. Stadia, of course, I mean, it's always, for the most part, pretty consistent. And for a long time, and I know this is getting off track a little bit, but for a long time, it had the best latency. Now, with adaptive sync with GFN on the Chromebook, that's actually almost like playing my Series S. It's pretty close with the adaptive sync. But the point I'm getting at is, to Ray's point, this is why people have to test things on their own, because no matter where you live, network conditions, distance from the server, the device you're using, it truly is going to differ for every person. And in the case of Ray, xCloud works great. It does not work great for me. So I could not see myself playing Forza in xCloud, considering how it runs for me, though. That may not be the case for somebody else.
Right. So how about this, guys? What if Microsoft surprises us this week with bringing 4K to xCloud to showcase?
I'm not going to help Chase, apparently.
I wouldn't put it past them. I hope that. I don't want to put too much hope in it, but I wouldn't put it past them.
We're in November, guys. Again, they were targeting, this year. It's not a lot of months left. Two
Halo.
big hitters.
Oh, yes.
True, but why don't they start with this, right? This is a big IP for them. This is a huge franchise for them. And this would be a good start, good showcase to like 4K and what they've been working on. We're upgrading to their new blade. So
Yeah, I still think they
I
have a
normally
lot.
see their big announcements on a Tuesday. Not far to wait.
Ooh.
No, a week on Tuesday though. Still got another week to go.
Wait, what?
No, the thing is, they're not very consistent with their 2 weeks now.
that's
It's a Tuesday, but it can be 2 weeks. It can be every week.
Yeah.
Oh, just one thing has just came up in my thing. There's over 1 million people playing Forza Horizon 5 already.
Oh, has it reached 1 million?
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's the
And that's-
pre-orders.
Yeah, that's the premium people. These each to go out and buy it before, even though it's going on the
But
Game
that's-
Pass.
That's a
So they've-
testament
I
to all of the
know.
places you can play the game. PC,
know.
console. You have so many different options to play. That's
That's
why that counts so
nuts.
high.
That's not
Yeah.
1 million, and the game is not even officially released yet. It's impressive. Good
So the
stuff.
Game Pass numbers go out. Jeez.
Yeah,
Greatest investment I've ever did. Ultimate
For
Game
sure.
Pass.
for sure. All right, y'all. That's time for this show. It's crazy because I was thinking not a lot of news this week, but man, I had to cut you guys off because we could have been here for quite some time. But it's always cool to just have an awesome panel and talk cloud gaming. It's always fun. GTP, you missed out, homie. Hopefully we see you here next week. But no, just want to give each member a chance to plug the channel, let people know what you guys do and where people can find you. So to get started, Ray, what do you do, sir? Where can people find you?
Well, you know what? I'm Ray3473, and I'm about to kill my son. Will you get the hell out of here? What the hell are you doing? Anyway,
Yo, what's up? Shout outs to the kid.
Fuck
I think
I'm live. Get out of here. Anyway,
that's dope.
I'm Ray3473. Just catch my streams on Twitter. Tonight I'm gonna be doing some Red Dead Redemption on Stadia. Tomorrow I'm doing GFN. And man, there's about to be a homicide. Dude, get out of here. Jesus. All right, I'm done.
You're good. I love it. Chase, what do you do? Where can people find you?
Yeah, if you go on YouTube, just search The Gaming Advocate. You can find me on Twitter at Phantom UFC Fan. The channel is focused on consumer advocacy, which is I have a little bit more of a different definition nowadays of what that actually is. It's letting the consumer drive the conversation. It's their voice. It's what their purchasing decision or use case is. So every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, we do a Saturday morning coffee talk. So stop by. It's a good time.
Good stuff. Good way to wake up on the Saturday, man. You guys definitely make sure you check that show out and check out Chase's channel and Ray's. Ben, what do you do, sir? Where can people find you?
They can find me mainly on Twitch right now. That's kind of where I've been focusing. I also have, I post clips of my streams on on TikTok and then sometimes on YouTube as well. But Twitch is where I usually go live first.
Cool. Good to have you on, Ben. Duncan, what do you do, sir? Where can people find you?
Creative Games on YouTube. We are, and also Krabby.games, the website. You can check us out there. We've got things coming, and we should be making an announcement next week and something.
Ooh, nice. Definitely give Cloudy a look. Good stuff over there as well. How about you, Chief? Anything you want to plug, add?
No, I'm just here to cause trouble, clearly.
You do a good job at it, sir. How about you?
I will just balance things out to say Stadia does actually get used quite a lot in my household.
Yeah.
Just
Your
not by
kids
me.
love it, right?
Yeah.
But no, so Chief, I always appreciate your intake and input here, man. Always. Monkey, anything you want to plug here?
There's a hole in my ceiling. Could do a plug. No, I don't know. What are we doing this week, guys?
Forza mainly.
Forza.
Football Manager 22.
That's
Americans just go get a cup of tea or something. No, not a cup of tea. I don't know. What do you drink? Root beer. Go get a root beer.
Beer.
We'll be
No,
playing Football
regular
Manager.
beer or coffee.
Beer.
If you're interested in VR, check out the new video that's on the channel. CGX VR.
We have a new
Matthew's
video.
done another. Oh my god, yes, we have another video. Chief put it out today on the VR channel. And
thank you, Chief. Good job.
Yeah. Just thank you everyone for watching, and it's great, the opinions. That's how we fill up 2 hours, because everyone has a different opinion, and it's always good. So thanks very much.
Embrace debate.
Embrace debate. I love it. Good stuff. Again, awesome panel here. Thank you guys for watching. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully we were able to. Where's the polls, real quick? What's the polls looking like? I didn't
GFN one, dude. They knocked it out the park.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So you guys were on that. So GFN takes this one this week. Appreciate you guys participating in the poll. Appreciate you guys participating here. We'll catch you guys next week at 2 p.m. PST. Again, thank you, Chase, and thank you, Ray, for being our
It's a
guest
pleasure.
today.
You guys are great. Love the guys. Check out their amazing videos, man. I'm always learning something from the videos. You guys put out just awesome content.
Shout outs to you, son.
Dude,
I was laughing at Duncan, but now I'm laughing at
I
Ray.
saw him coming.
he's in so much trouble. He knows better.
It's awesome. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys next week. Till next time, fellas. Peace out.